Joao Pedro, take a bow. That was an absolutely exceptional full debut. I mean, what a performance from the whole team, might I say. We're through to the Club World Cup final, guys. Another final in just over a month. I mean, what more is there to say? This group of players is clearly achieving something. You can disregard both competitions if you like, but the truth of the matter is that we paved our way through all these games, which weren't all straightforward, and of course today overcame Fluminense, who I thought put on a really good show. They have obviously been on an 11-game unbeaten run themselves, but to be able to control the game from the get-go and actually see it through, keep a clean sheet, and even look like we could score 3 or 4 more, yeah, what more is there to ask for today, guys? I think every single Chelsea fan is absolutely thrilled with that performance. Both you could look individually and as a team. That was very, very positive. And yeah, here we are, guys. We're through to the Club World Cup final. There is a trophy there for the taking and an opportunity for more players who have just arrived to grasp that winning feeling as we go into a hopefully bigger and better season to build on last year. Now, yeah, where to begin, guys? For those of you who didn't catch me, I posted a preview today, and of course it's been a while since we have seen each other, so welcome back if you have been here before, and welcome if you're new. Please subscribe. I'm going to be posting lots of transfer news videos, catching up with everything that's been going on, catching up with our signings who are clearly already making a difference, and just talking summer transfer news, and of course looking ahead to next season. Like this video, and of course comment down below your thoughts on the game, who impressed you the most, and who, yeah, I mean, I was impressed by everyone. There are a few individuals and probably a shout out of maybe 3 players that we'll go through in particular, but yeah, overall very happy. Nothing to complain about today, guys. Nothing to complain about. So let's pick this game apart a little bit and try and go through chronological order as much as we can, even though chronological is not my expertise. I tend to be all over the place, as I am today, but upon looking at the lineup, I was a little bit surprised to see that obviously Gusto started. I thought James might be in there. I was also surprised to see that Joao Pedro started. I thought, if I'm in Maresca's mind right now, I am going to be bringing in Nicholas Jackson. Not that I wanted that, but I was just trying to find out what Maresca would be, you know, doing. Obviously his suspension has worn out. He has got a few lessons to learn. He has been self-aware, but also we will talk about Nicholas Jackson in particular a little bit later on. And yeah, but it was a pleasant surprise. I thought Neto starting was brilliant. He has been great in my opinion this whole tournament, and even today he is in my top 3 because I thought he was exceptional. And again, we'll scrutinise his performance in a little bit more detail a little later. Nkunku started, which again, maybe some people are a little bit like, why is he playing? But to be honest with you, we'll find out what happens with Nkunku, but he's probably got just a few, maybe even actually just 1, if that. I don't know if he'd start or play in the final, but yeah, it seems like his time is running out with Chelsea anyway. But today I saw a lot of effort from him. I saw a lot of attempts of ball recovery. He's not really a player who necessarily helps out a lot defensively, but the work rate was definitely there. At times he came close to scoring as well himself. He had some half chances, but he just dilly-dallied with the ball too much, and it was just like, oh, like, you know, sometimes it needs to be a first time finish. You don't always need to take a touch. You don't always need to try and do something over the top. Like, just take a shot, learn from someone called Joao Pedro, and you never know. But wasn't quite the case. Apart from that, the lineup pretty much as expected. Enzo Fernandez partnered up with Caicedo. Jesus, I do think that these two are like robots at this point, because how on earth do they play this much? You know, coming off the back of such a busy season for the pair of them is just brilliant. How they continue to be as good as they are. Obviously Caicedo did pick up a little bit of a knock. I think he had an ankle twist moment, and I hope that's not too serious. Obviously we'll find out soon. Maybe there is an update as I film this video, I'm not too sure, but we will figure that out later. And yeah, defence, obviously Chalobah partnered up with Tosin at the back. I thought the pair of them did a good job defensively. I thought at times were a little bit let down, well, a moment or two were let down by Robert Sanchez, but I know what you're going to say, Nina, and stop talking about Robert Sanchez, let it go. However, he did have a moment or two in that game where, yeah, it just did make me worry. And I just thought, guys, you know, again, it's a day to be happy, but we also are objective and realistic here. No, okay, I'm not going to go through it now because this is going to be a whole, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole talking about Robert Sanchez and whether he is good enough, and I just don't want to do that right now. So we'll talk about that in another video. But yeah, apart from that, really great. Happy, of course, to see Joao Pedro get his first start. Obviously, you're always intrigued by the prospect. We've pretty much gone through the whole tournament of seeing a glimpse of, obviously, Liam Dilap when he started and, you know, he got his goal, to Joao Pedro starting and him getting his goals. And it's just super nice to actually almost get like a little trailer of what these players could be about. Obviously, again, we are completely realistic at the fact that this is the Club World Cup. When it comes to the Premier League, it's going to be very, very different. However, you can only play what's in front of you. And again, I would like to give credit to Fluminense for their performance, and they did not make it easy. And I also think that they, you know, they were very physical. You could clearly see some of those like duels that were happening, and where it literally was very, very difficult. But I thought we were excellent on the most part. Emerged from the blocks in control. It pretty much looked like us being the possession-based team that we like to be up against their low block. They like to sit back, and in those first kind of in that first half, I thought they did kind of emerge a little bit hungrier though after Joao Pedro's first goal, but on the most part, I thought our passes were great. I thought we were really, really quick in transition, which was exactly what we have been missing. I think at times one of my biggest complaints last season was we're too slow in transition, and we lose that moment of momentum and actually building on the whole point of your advantage when you are hitting a team on a transition, and we often really lost that. So to see us take full advantage of it today was really, really refreshing, and something that I really, really would like us to translate into the Premier League next season as well. I thought players taking it upon themselves to have a shot was really, really great. Obviously, Joao Pedro being one of them. I mean, can we just talk about that goal, guys? Because I was watching with my dad, and we literally saw that goal, and I was like, oh my God, like, that is insane. To always say that, you know, players rarely take shots outside the box, players rarely try and go for it. To see Joao Pedro, a new signing, do that on his first start was pretty special. And, you know, it came off obviously Pedro Neto's cross was cleared out, but again, instant reaction, good reflex, a perfect curl, and the power on it as well. It was just perfect finish. And then just when you thought it couldn't get any better, and surely that's the best goal you'll see, then comes out the second goal. And again, I mean, I was just like, wow. It was absolutely incredible, and I'm sure that you guys all had the same reaction, but it was spectacular. Just again, you know, in that situation where whether it would be Jackson or someone else, we're so used to seeing you know, a pass laid off or him squaring it in that position, but he didn't. He just went for a shot and he got it spot on. So hey, what happens when you shoot, huh? I always say this. That it's so simple, yet we make it so difficult. So there it is. I hope that could be an example to all the other players. And you know what? I think it already is. We saw Gusto take a shot from outside the box. We saw Cucurella try and take a shot outside the box, you know. All these players, Neto even, again, and it's just so nice to see players visibly more confident. You know, that's something that a lot of these guys wouldn't have done at the start of last season. So to see that there is, again, an evident growth in confidence and bravery, just to take it upon yourself, to take a risk, is such a great quality, and that only comes with experience, which, you know, in these competitions we're getting. So yeah, it's absolutely great, guys. I thought, again, to talk about Fluminense, I thought they had a decent number of chances. Some were skied and blazed high above the bar, but again, they definitely, I think, deserved at least a goal, to be completely honest, from that game. But hey, it was totally our day, and we just seized that game, took it by the scruff of its neck, and just we made it ours. But honestly, really, really great. Let's touch briefly upon substitutions. Nicholas Jackson came on for Joao Pedro, and I said to Dad, and I was like, this is kind of like school vibes. I can tell and I can feel the envy in Jackson, and you know, I just know that he's just itching to get back out there and score, to prove himself to us, because every time something like this happens and, you know, he gets criticised after suspension or a silly you know, every like that he makes, he always just wants to come back and prove everyone wrong, and he's just itching to shoot, to a point where, if you guys remember, there was a chance in that second half where he could have squared it to Cole Palmer, who was literally open in front of an unguarded goal, and he decided to take a shot, hit the side net. But that's just how badly he wants it, to a point where sometimes he's just in his own head, and I always think that's a quality that trips up Jackson. So one of the biggest questions, of course, is who will start in that final, and I will leave that to you guys to let me know in the comments down below. I mean, of course, Joao Pedro's performance warrants him a start. So could it be the fact that we see Joao Pedro perhaps out wide with Jackson starting up top, or will Maresca just start Joao Pedro? Simple as that. Great question. Noni Madueke too came on, another player who just looks like he's also itching to do something, to create something. There's a lot of noise around his future at Chelsea at the moment and what that might look like, so interesting to see how that unfolds. But one thing's for sure, guys, and that is that we are in another final, and I don't really care how big or small people think this competition is, or this trophy, or what it means or what it doesn't mean. I am always wearing my cap, where I'm thinking and I'm trying to get inside the players' heads. They're going to be buzzing to be playing in a final, guys. And mind you, they will be playing against the best team in Europe, regardless who it is, PSG or Real Madrid. You know, we're talking the Champions League winners, and we're talking the European bloody giants as well, Real Madrid. So either or, it doesn't matter. We're going to be playing a final against them, and it's going to be such a huge learning curve, win or lose. It's going to be really, really important for these players. So just to be in that final alone deserves a round of applause for them. Seriously, it really, really does. So not turning my nose up at this, and certainly really excited to see how it unfolds. Let me know who you think our opponent will be. Like this video, subscribe to Nina's Chelsea Corner if you haven't done so already, guys, to stay tuned for the other content that will drop. Take care of yourselves, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will catch up with you guys very, very soon. Thank you so much.